What are you guys talking about up here?
Where I'm talking about this podcast. I know the hosts. Welcome to You Do, a podcast where we explore everything queer, Asian, and identity and get into everything that you do.
I'm your host, Vince Buendicho.
And I'm Mathew Vo. Happy Pride Month!
Happy freaking Pride. Oh my god, we're here. We're queer.
We're here, we're queer.
It's so weird because we don't actually celebrate Pride here in Vancouver in June, but everywhere else it's like just,
June is
rainbows galore.
World Pride. World Pride
Yeah.
is in June, so.
But for us, it's like, no gays for the month.
It's in August in Vancouver?
I think so, or July. I don't even know. It's so random. And it's like, it's to not compete with LA and everyone else because everyone just flies down to LA for Pride.
Right.
And so we're just like, we're silenced for that month.
No. What about Toronto then? Is it a different month there?
No, they also celebrate in June. But they're like, those are big cities, so that's why they celebrate at the appropriate time. But anyway,
we have a really, really special guest today, which we'll introduce in a little bit. But with every episode, we start off with how do you do? So, Vince, how do you do?
How's my weather report?
Yeah.
No, I am doing really well. It's like at 10 p.m., that's when the sun sets. So I literally after work just still have 6 hours left of activities to do. So just going on
10
hikes.
p.m.?
Yeah. Okay, 9:30. It's still like kind of light-ish around 9:30, 9:45. And I'm just going to keep going until like I see the moon. But yeah, just literally just like hiking, volleyball, like just any activities that we have like a pretty active group chat, like expat activity chat that everyone's like, all right, we're doing this today, we're doing that. And I'm just like, yep, let's do it. Just do everything. Like everyone is a lot nicer. It's like, everyone's just super gay and I love it. And then I also celebrated my birthday, which was like pretty epic. Just like every day something was happening and everyone just wanted to celebrate me as they should.
As they should. Yeah.
As they should. So that was awesome. What else is there? And we're halfway through the year, which is scary because I've not.
Oh my god!
Ticked off anything on my list.
I know. 6 months in.
I know. It's wild. But anyway, aside from that, I'm doing well. How about you, Matt? How do you do?
I'm doing well.
Are you wearing a wig?
Yeah, I'm like waiting for you to say something about my hair. God damn it. No, I decided to do something different to my hair. Like I had such long hair before. Well, I still do. But I was like debating if I wanted to buzz it off for the summer or just like get some fun curls going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I was kind of inspired by like 80s rock stars.
Yeah, like it's definitely giving like punk rock
alternative.
Yeah.
Silver Lake gay.
Start wearing your puka shells as well.
Maybe I'll just wear my leather, pants out in public now.
Oh my god.
And just harnesses.
Yeah.
But
no, I love it. I really like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does it move?
Does it what?
Does it move?
Does it move?
It looks like you just like plunk it. Just like
no,
it's like a helmet.
It's like Lady Gaga's Coachella wig.
Yeah,
like her bangs don't move at all when she like clips her hair. It's just like stuck on.
I think you need to glue down your edges.
I know. This could be a wig. Maybe I should shave it off and sell it. But in May we celebrated like AAPI Heritage Month, and now we're going to Pride Month. So it's like being gay and Asian has been exhausting. But I think it's a great reminder that we should embrace our identities every single day, and our identities don't kind of define us, and that is always kind of ever evolving. And I think when we moved like overseas, I just felt embracing that community a lot more.
Yeah.
And embracing like being proud of my identity. So I think that these few months have been a reminder of that, and just like what like my therapist asked me, what does being authentic mean? Because I'm kind of kind of exploring that meaning to him. We can say we want to live authentically, but what does that even look like, in our heads? And I think for me, it's like sometimes I feel it in my body where I walk into a space and I have to like switch it on, like fit, like you could physically feel you have to be someone else, to fit. And maybe it's like imposter syndrome, like literally that feeling of imposter syndrome. So I think for me, it's feeling like I'm myself the whole time. I don't have to like physically feel like I have to switch on anything in my heart, in my body. And so yeah, I think someone that I feel like embodies living authentically is our guest today. I have the lucky privilege of working with Dalane Nash, and he is our community experience manager at RDC Studio 111 and Dialot. And I want to welcome him to the stage. Please welcome Dalane Nash, everyone. Hi, Dalane.
Happy Pride. Hey,
gays. Look at this gaggle of gays.
I know.
Gaggle of gays. They've never looked better.
Oh my God.
We're so diverse.
Yeah, we are.
We could be a show right now. I mean, we're on a show, but
go on tour for sure.
Oh my God, we should go on tour. It can be like Destiny's Child.
Oh,
what is your height and measurement?
She's
I want to know where you would fit in the group. Okay.
I would be Miss Kelly, I think. I can't fully claim Beyonce.
But I want to be Kelly.
I can't do the. No, you can be Michelle.
Wow.
You are taking me to 106 in Park where Michelle falls.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm. Oh my God.
Look.
And they just keep going and they're like, yeah.
They just keep going.
Yeah, the show must go on.
I love it. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm so excited and honored to be here for Pride.
Thank you for coming on.
Pride is exhausting. Actually, the last 6 months of the year are exhausting if you're gay because it's like Halloween is another Pride.
Oh, true.
And then there's like, and then Palm Springs Pride is like in November because it's like less hot.
Yeah.
So it's like Pride for us actually starts in May. And Matt came to my Pride party that I hosted.
It was so fun.
Like in Long Beach. And then there's WeHo Pride and LA Pride.
Oh my God.
It just means too much.
Yeah. New York Pride.
Keep going.
Yeah.
New York Pride.
It is so important though. But so we share the same office. I'm in the interior design team, and when you first started, we were sort of upstairs in like the mezzanine space. And I don't know, we felt like kind of a little bit disconnected to the rest of the office. But I remember when you first started, I just like the whole office could feel your energy, your sort of bubbliness, and just, I don't know, it's just like a crazy sort of energy that we all like admire and look up to. And like, yeah, I admire so much about you. So that's why we really wanted you on, because you embody pride in the fullest form in everyday life. And, we want to learn what you do as a community experience manager. So can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. I mean, when I first started that role, I was like so lost. It was the first in that position. And so coming into a company where they're like, hey, yeah, we just want you to, greet people and make sure the rooms aren't double booked. And I'm like, but what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Like, how do I make this space feel hospitable and make people feel seen the moment that they walk in? How do I make it an experience, right?
Right.
And so my role has then grew into so much more. And so I took it to myself to really reach out to community members and say, like, if we're going to create spaces and design spaces, it's important to know how those of our community that we design the spaces for have been impacted. And so it was for me post-COVID and really seeing the small businesses be affected by the pandemic that I said, how often is it times where we say, oh man, I was just going to go to that place. I wish it didn't shut down. I wish I would have gotten to try it. I wish I would have supported it. And so bringing those small business owners in to tell their story of what their experience is and how we can support them in their future endeavors was a big thing for me, because our whole downtown is in this whole revitalization, and we really wanted to continue to bring livelihood and see how we could help to bring a buzz back to it. And so those people who are making up those areas, I was like, this is going to help people become better designers, because they're going to see how colors and textures and all that. And Matt, you probably can speak to this volumes, but like the place that I worked at before was a nonprofit where it was focused on the intersection of arts, culture, and community, but it was stark gray and white, and it was an art and culture community geared at low income and people of color. And I'm like, that language that you are using is not welcoming to low income and people of color. So you're bringing people into a space that is, probably an experience they've never experienced in their life, but it's so precious that they don't know what to do with it. And so I, in my career, have really prided myself on creating a space and experience that people are going to say, wow, somebody saw me in that moment when I walk through the door, no matter what color, the creed, financial situation. I want people to show up authentically. And I think that it's really important that they do. And to create a moment that, you know, my background's in food and beverage and hospitality. So whether that was complimenting their shoes or remembering that it was their anniversary or just seeing them in this space, it was so important for me as I've navigated my career to where I'm at now to continue to do that.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And I think I've actually experienced that firsthand the first time I met you and visited Matt in his workplace. I think you were the first person that I met going into his office, and exactly what you just said is like beautifully well put about the fact that there needs to be a bit more representation. And also, you are technically our catalyst, because Matt and I both work in design, but or like seldom do we actually see some spaces get used that we design. And the fact that you add that extra layer of like experience and also just how the space should actually feel, or like should also take our space that we've designed and convert it into something else and convert it into whatever is needed at that moment. I think that's really awesome.
I do think like we as designers, we can get a brief from a client about the end user, but you're doing the work to actually outreach to the community to get the perspective from their side, so we could integrate better design, to be honest, and for like longevity in design, because it will serve and evolve with them rather than
100%,
just from the top down saying they need this, you know. So I think the work that you do is so important.
Thank you. I mean, you guys have a really hard job. Like for me, I always think about like, how do you guys are listening to the client, and the client's telling you what the experience to look and feel like. But from a user's perspective, how is this place going to have longevity is what I always ask myself. You know, like, is everything in here, just because it's a luxury place doesn't mean that it has to be so luxurious that people don't want to touch things. You know, people should be able to like sit down on the couch when they come into the lobby. You know, like you don't want it to be like, oh, that's really nice. Kids, come over here. Don't touch me, you know? So I always just try to find a middle ground between like the client and what they design the space to be and the user, and then add my own twist to it.
Yeah, I love that. I totally forgot, but we forgot to ask you, how do you do?
Yeah. Straight in.
Sorry, like we were just so excited to like learn about what you do that we forgot to ask, how do you do, my friend? How do you do, Dalane?
I'm doing splendid, because let me tell you, last weekend shenanigans got the best of me. I was at WeHo Pride.
Yes. Wait, you were there too?
I was there too.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. And had a cute little overall moment on, short overall, and had my wallet in my pocket. Saturday, we're dancing, we're moving.
No.
And I wake up on Sunday, and my wallet is gone.
Oh my God.
And I was like, am I going to let this ruin my weekend? Absolutely not. So I found a house party to go to.
Yes, yes.
Lock those cards. And I was like, where did I bop around to? There was only 2 places, High Tops and the Abbey. And
it's the Abbey. I bet you it's the Abbey.
It was the Abbey. It was the
Abbey.
Okay,
okay, wait, hold on. So like, I was also there on Saturday. So my girlfriends and I were like, I mean, they're straight women. They wanted to go to the Abbey, and I was like, we are not going to the Abbey. Yeah, they're allies. I love them. But I was like, we're not going to the Abbey. We're gonna get roofied, number one, or get our shit stolen. And so we went to High Tops instead.
Good. We were like missing each other.
I know. We went to High Tops and then we went to Motherlode. But I am scared of the Abbey because it's just, I've heard stories.
Which one is the Abbey? Did you take me there?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's like huge outdoor, indoor moment. Looks like a church.
Yes, no,
they have like
the
chapel.
Yeah, I have been there. That was the first club you took me to.
Oh,
it was a bit sketch.
Well, it's the most popular one, well-known one.
They had a whole show on like E or Bravo.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I'm gonna give the Abbey their kudos.
Because
Monday I called. They found my wallet.
Oh my God, bless.
Everything was still in it. Nothing. Everything was in it.
Oh my God.
So Abbey,
the gays were behaving. Yes.
Also, nobody's looking at the floor on Pride weekend. Like no one's looking.
We just feel it from our shoes.
Ew.
Yeah. And keep on kicking. I found my wallet.
Amazing.
Monday I called, Instagram, emailed. Yeah. They were like, no, we didn't find it. And then Tuesday at 3:30, I get a call from the chef at the Abbey.
The chef?
Like, we found it.
He was treating himself to dinner, and it's like, oh, whose card is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, you can have it. Okay, just give me everything back.
Oh my God, I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you found it.
I found it. I did not cancel any cards. I stayed positive, and my wallet manifested back into my life.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing really good.
Oh my God, I would have crumbled if that was me. I would have been like, Matt, I'm leaving. I'm going back to Vancouver.
It's the Pisces in me. Oh. I just choose to just like navigate like water and just flow and life them flow.
Go with the flow.
Yes.
We are in such a kind of divisive sort of time in terms of political power and the rights that we have in the world right now. And I want to ask you, like, what does, I guess, representation mean to you, and how does it feel to be seen and heard?
Yeah, it is something that I really had to like grow and find out the kind of the hard way. You know, like I didn't grow up in a predominantly African American Black area. My area was full of Caucasian white people, and I never got to see versions of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going out, I was not the top pick for anybody. I was not somebody like, so that experience, and even in my family, there's now more queer people, but growing up, there wasn't like a queer auntie or a queer uncle that I could sit down with. And so I think that representation is so, so important, because there's somebody that's watching and looking and saying, man, I wish I could be like that. I wish I can get there. And it was until I moved to Long Beach in 2020, right before the pandemic. And I had to sit with myself and asked what version of life would I be happy with. Just even with the way that I navigated work settings was very much like I was playing a role.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've got to show up authentically as myself. That is the only way that I can live this life and be fulfilled by the work that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just stopped playing a role, and I really sat down with my parents and my family, and I was like, I can't continue to do this anymore. I've already come out to you, but I still feel like I'm masking so much of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to inspire younger people and family members who I know are struggling to be able to take that leap. So I am leaving this job and I'm working at this nonprofit. And when I went to that nonprofit that was focused on art and wellness, I just thought, what a powerful conversation that I've never been able to have. And so representing a Black person who's very mindful about like, hey, did you check in on your heart today? Did you check in on yourself today?
Yeah.
People don't ever take that time to like have that conversation. And I felt like that it was really important for me to continue to live my life that way. And then from there, friends started to gravitate that looked like me. Community circles started to open up for me because I was living such a more authentic life. And I think that right now, during the political climate, community is all that we have.
Yeah.
Right? I think that that's how we get through these next 3.5 years.
I totally like resonate with what you said because like both Vince and I grew up in quite a diverse place in Logan and in Brisbane, but there weren't really any queer people that we could look up to or like have like as a role model. And I think once we kind of left Brisbane, like we started to embrace that side of our identity a lot more. Vince and I talk about it all the time. We feel like we're still like very gay babies.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, how do we make queer friends and how do we live authentically in a prideful way? Because not that I feel like we question like, are we internally homophobic? I know we're not, but
I one thing that I've done that really helped me just even see much more because I like see I'm gay, right? Like I know where I lie on the spectrum was community volleyball. Volleyball has been everything to me because you meet so many people from different walks of life. And some of them are from different countries, some of them are from different cities, some of them are older, younger. You're meeting people in different moments and chapters of their life that are really beautiful. And when I play and I see them, I think this person in this moment is showing so much authentically as them. I don't know who they have to go home and be or when they clock in who they have to be, but in this moment, I can get to know them exactly where they are and how they want to be seen. They are showing me in their Speedo, in a wig, in a tutu, and they're having fun, you know? And I'm like, these smiles, these moments, where some people are playing this competitively and it's taking the fun out of it. But I am seeing somebody at the most beautiful moment, which is showing up authentically for them. And volleyball for me was like healing my inner child, right? Like I always wanted to play and my high school didn't have it. And so I got to watch all of my girl cousins play volleyball. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be out there so bad. Even to the point where I thought about like transferring to a different district to go play. And my parents were like, no, unfortunately, we're not waking up at 5 a.m. to drop you off.
Wait, so where did you grow up, Dalane?
Riverside. It's about an hour and a half away from Long Beach.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, there's like a whole awakening that I've had of just like, I didn't live with my parents the entire time that I was in Riverside, but for a majority of the time I did. And just like not even able to embrace all the parts of me, right? It's like I come home and I always tell my mom, like, when you ask me how work is, I'll tell you work was this, that, and this. But if you ask me how I am, you're going to get a different answer. I began to have those conversations with my mom and my dad, and it really did change our relationship. And then when I moved out to Long Beach, that's when I felt like I don't have to hide things from them. I could bring somebody over to my place. I could be into these like gay community activities and my mom not be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing, Dalane? Why can't you just play regular volleyball? Why does it have to be? And I'm like, because I just want to show up for me and what feels right. And I think just like finding something that like you've always wanted to do, even the youngest version of you that you didn't get to, find that, and there's community in that you'll be like excited to show up for, and it will expand your like circle and your mindset.
Yeah. I mean, are you able to talk about like your coming out story?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Get your tissue.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So I'm the baby of 3. My brother was like a basketball star in our like state city.
Yeah.
Well known. My sister loved being his little sister. And I just wanted to show up as Dalane. I felt like that was like as I was trying to figure out myself, I didn't want to be somebody's little brother. I also didn't want somebody being like, I saw your brother with some other boy and it was weird. Like, I really kind of distanced myself from that.
Yeah.
And I always felt like people knew I was gay. Like, I was always doing splits at the basketball games, cheering with the cheerleaders. Like, that was things that I just did.
Yes.
And then my senior year, it was, let's go Toros, let's go Clover.
Oh my God, yes.
But my senior year was when Prop 8 was on the ballot. And I felt like that was a really big, really important thing for me to do, was to come out to my parents. And as any gay does, the first thing that they do is download Grindr, or at least I did. And this was at the time where if you plugged up your your iPod, it would download onto your computer. And so my sister and I shared a laptop. So when she plugged in her phone, Grindr popped up on her phone. And she came into my room and she was like, "What is this?" I was like, I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
How did that get on there?"
It was like, "Look over there."
Yeah, how'd that get on there? And she was like, "Are you gay?"
Oh,
and I was like,
shit.
Not the confrontation.
Yeah, and I said, yeah. And my sister started yelling at me.
Oh.
And my cousin lived around the corner. I had already come out to her, and I ran to my cousin's house, and I was like, my sister just found out that I'm gay. And she was like, okay, so what do we do? And she was like, just stay here. It's fine.
Yeah.
And my mom called me shortly after, and my mom was like, I need you to come to my job, and I need you to sit in the car. And so I went to my mom's job. I sat in the car. My mom and sister are both hairstylists, so I thought this conversation was going to go much different. And my mom was like, your sister called and told me something. I want you to tell me. And I was like, well, there's this app that I was on. And she was like, and what kind of app is it? I was like, it's a gay app. And she was like, go back home and we'll talk about this later. So then I had to go home and sit and wait until my mom got home. Which is like
painful.
6 hours.
Oh, that's painful.
And I sit and talk to her. And she was like, we're going to pray about this. I come from a very Christian family. We're going to pray about this. And my dad comes in my room. And this is like, my dad is my hero. My dad sat me down and he said, Dalane, I'm going to have a much different conversation than you did with your mom. Are you gay? And I said, yes. And he said, if you tell me that, I believe it. I want you to find love. I want you to be safe. And I want you to be happy. And from that moment, my dad and I have been like inseparable. And I've seen my dad just act as such a hero for me in ways that I didn't think that he would. My dad's like very much macho and into weightlifting and football and all the things. So I thought that response from my mom was going to be what I got from my dad. And from there, my dad just continued to be such a wonderful ally for me. And this was my senior year. My cousin was a freshman and kids were bullying her. And they were like, your cousin's gay. Your cousin's gay. So I told my cousin, and she comes home crying one day. And my dad's like, why are you crying? He's just like, they were bullying me at school. They said that Dalane's gay. And so my dad's like, there's a football game tonight, right? And I was like, she goes, yeah. She was like, me, you, Dalane, and your dad are going to go. We go to the football game, and my dad goes, which one of these boys? Which one of them? Point him out.
Oh my God.
And my cousin's like, that one. And she goes, what's his name? And she goes, TJ. And my dad goes, TJ. TJ looks, he goes, come here. My dad calls him down, and he goes, you made my niece cry today. And he goes, yeah. And he was like, you were talking about my son? And he was like, I sure did. And he was like, you said my son was gay. And he was like, yes. I mean, he said, my son is gay. What's the problem? And he was like, oh, there's no problem. And he was like, I bet you anything my gay son could beat your ass.
Yeah.
And he goes, do you want to embarrass yourself and watch my son beat your ass in front of all these people?
Oh my God, I love him.
Like, and he goes, no. And he was like, that's what I thought. Don't talk about my son and don't talk to him about my niece ever again.
Oh my God.
And that, I was like, my dad, I
want to meet this hero.
Like that I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so great. Looks like Barry White, still has a long ponytail.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm not crying.
So my coming out experience had its moments. I'm like, we're all in a great place now.
Yeah.
I have niece and nephews that I like always choose to like. I had a conversation with my brother, and I had not come out to him yet, but my sister-in-law was pregnant with my niece, and I was like, I've got to tell you something. And I was like, I'm gay, and the reason I feel like I need to tell you this is because I want your kids to know that they have somebody to come to if they feel weird or if they are going through something in life that they feel uncomfortable to talk to you about. At least they can talk to their uncle and have representation or just somebody to listen and guide them, because they were once feeling like they were weird or somebody was bullying them. I just want them to know that they are loved and they have a safe place to come.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I feel like dads just surprise us sometimes.
I know.
My dad is also a very like quiet, reserved sort of guy, kind of macho. But then I came out to my mom first because her and I are quite close, and I was just scared about like telling my dad. So I told him maybe like 8 or 9 months after I told my mom, and this was like during Christmas Eve, because we always, as a family, we always take like a Christmas Eve photo in front of the tree, and I didn't want to go that holiday without like telling him and taking that photo and being like, oh, I wish I told him or whatever. And so before we took the photo, I told him, and obviously I was crying, and he just said to me like, okay, as long as you're not doing drugs or anything, like that's fine. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like that was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where we're like, we should give our like dads especially like, well, I guess our parents a bit more credit because of just like how fearful we are of how like the generational like difference, and we naturally assume that they're just like, going to be different people. But same with you, Matt. When I first came out, they like literally cheered, and I was like, this is not like the reality that I had in my head. I literally had my bags packed. I was ready to go, and I was like panicking. But when I did so, I was like just waiting for them to be like, get out of the house. And I was like, ugh. And then they were like cheering. And I was like, this is like the best thing that could have happened to me, because I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I had no like plan B aside from that bag that I packed. It's quite awesome that we all have had such like varying differences of coming out, but at the same time, it's like so wholesome. And I know a lot of people don't really have that experience, which is just really sad. Like, I don't know, we still have a long way to go, but at least
me too.
By us being representing each of our, I guess, our stories, at least you could reach someone, and it could be like a beacon of hope for someone. And yeah, it's just, we've come so far.
Yeah, I agree. My mom also had this moment where like she was very hard, and you were talking about, Vince, you were talking about generation. And she looked at me and she said, your sister's reaction, you have to accept, because everyone in this life does not have to love what you tell them. You don't, even if they're your family. And that was a really hard thing for me to hear, because it's like, this is supposed to be a place where I'm safe and this is love. But you're right. Everyone is not. The world is a crazy place. And at this time, I had already, like, my best friend had already known. And I was like, you know what? If my family doesn't accept me, then I will also have a chosen family that has already shown up for me in a really beautiful way. And so I think like people coming out, like pride parades are so important to me. I think that like the party is great, but the parade and seeing the dad hugs and the mom hugs and so many different people and the kids marching, that gives somebody hope,
Yes,
you know, that
exactly.
even if I haven't reached that point where I told my family, this small community that I've been able to create for myself, this chosen family, is still mine, and they will be there for me. And my roommate came out later in life, and I took him to his first parade,
Oh,
and he was like, I think I'm ready to come out. And I'm like, I'm here for you. There's so many people who are here for you,
yeah.
no matter what the outcome is. Your parents could be like, yay, we're so happy we always knew. But even if they're not, just know that these other people here will be there for you, and just give it time. I just always think of like giving it time, because it took you so long to accept yourself.
Yeah.
Give somebody else some time to understand it and obviously come to terms with it and be able to be accepting, but give them time to process the information and allow them to meet you where you're at.
Yeah, yeah. It makes me like really emotional too, just hearing that you were there to support, you know, your roommate. And like it's so fearful when we come out too, we don't have anyone linked to like support us. If like the idea of being disowned is just beyond us. Like it's just so sad to think about, and that's a fearful thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine being somewhere in like a different state where it's like you are one of 100 people in your small town community that has come out, and the only thing that you feel like is the option is to hide, that you can't show up often. Like I just couldn't imagine that being a life for me.
Yeah. What was kind of like the first moment you felt of pride?
I think the first moment I was actually, I went to my first San Francisco Pride the year that marriage was legalized.
Oh my God.
And that, yeah, my best friend is from the Bay Area, and he was like, we're going to go to San Francisco and we're going to Pride. And I was like, okay. So we took a road trip, drive up to Livermore, and we stayed at his parents' house. And he like prepped me like, my dad is this way. He used to be a cop, and my mom is this way. You're going to love her. And I walked in that house and was just Dalane. And they were like, this man's amazing. We love him. And we went to Pride, like the parties. And then the next day, his mom runs down the stairs and she's like, wake up right now. You guys can get married.
Oh
and I
wow.
just started crying. And I had never been more proud of who I am and how far I've come as a person, and been able to grow with my best friend and experience that together. That was like a huge moment that I've experienced pride. Now in my career, I've felt like I've experienced pride in walking away from a job that I was not able to show up authentically as Dalane. I decided from that moment, I never want to have to play the game of politics and who likes me better and who likes me worse. I get fulfillment as showing up to work as Dalane, and that should be enough because I can do all of the things of the job. Now, if my personality is great and you like it, good, I'll be here for 8 hours. If it doesn't, sorry, I'll be here for 8 hours.
Oh, period.
And then,
community-wise,
volleyball has been something that I have really been thankful for, and I've experienced pride because that is a community that I've been able to foster on my own. And last season we had our first like superlative, so it's like most likely to do this, most likely forget rotation, and the league voted me Mr. Congeniality. Yes. And that meant a lot because it was the biggest league signups of 150 people, and everyone voted, and more than half of the people who voted for me. And that meant that I just was like not hanging out with my league as far as division, but it meant I went around and engaged and talked to people, which is so important.
Yeah.
I was building community.
this is the part that like most people don't see about Pride, is this like not back of house, but like all the work that's led up to this point where we can live freely to be ourselves and be our authentic selves. And it's kind of just like there's this stigma and this kind of just the way that Pride is kind of visualized by the straights or the conservatives, where it's like hypersexualized. It's like all this and all this
rainbows and
rainbows,
festivals,
flags, whatever. But it's like they rarely see like the community building, like the fact that you mentioned like chosen family and all this stuff. Like I don't see that like advertised, or I don't see that like as a topic of discussion, which is so important because they just hyper focus on just like the parties and whatever. How do we make sure that Pride isn't just like a moment, but it's more of just like a movement and something that, you know, could potentially, well, is helping like a lot of people who are still in the closet or who are, you know, experiencing the stuff that we experienced before we saw someone out there living their own truth.
Yeah, I think that we've like got into like, I love seeing pronouns on somebody's signature. I'm like, yep, he is a he, him, they. He is a she, they. They are they, them. They're like, she's her. You know, like I love seeing it, and I think that those are ways that we create conversation about it and create representation, because someone advocating for pronouns is also somebody advocating for community, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that like even telling our stories are important. I think that like doing things like this and seeing different versions of queer, it's like, oh my gosh, I love that, because that person's story reminded me of me, and this other person looked like me, and this other person like, and so I think that like how we continue to have Pride is about being in the community and being active, and not in the sense of like we've got to go take it to the streets, but like go
step up.
You're right. Being part of like organizations and being part of things create a little impact. Like I'm always like, where did you get tested? Not at Kaiser Permanente, but I went to my local center, and that experience was great. Like I love advocating for queer spaces, and even like talking about doctors. I always am like, man, I wish that like going to the doctor as a gay wasn't so difficult. Like I also wish I was like a 12-year-old going to the doctor too, where you're like having me bend over and touch my toes and hit my knee, and you're like, I have scoliosis. Like, I wish it was that easy. Like I don't want you to come to me and just like be like looking at me. I'm like, no, ask me the question. Even if I'm gay, ask me the question. I know you want to know. Why am I here? Why am I here?
Exactly. Just goading them.
Vincent, like I was talking to Vince about like prep and maybe starting on prep, and we're just like, do we know anything about it? I don't. We don't. So it's like, who the hell do we reach out to? Because like my doctor doesn't really know anything about prep, and he's like referring me to some other doctor that specializes in it, and then it just
gay. It specializes in gay
and gay. No, and
right.
like exactly. And it's just like, who do I reach out to about these resources and like the day-to-day conversations, the day-to-day community bonding? That the things that you do, I think, is so important. I think for visibility and just like having someone to ask, like, hey, what type of prep should I be on, or what are the side effects to be on? I think it's just lacking. And I think the day-to-day conversations in Pride is just so important.
Yeah, I do wish that there was like even in education, right? Like I don't know many young kids in school, but my sex ed was terrible and didn't talk about anything gay. You know, you will get an STD and die. You know? Like,
that's the extent of it.
Yeah. You know, HIV, it's for you gays. That's, you know, like they tell you about birth control, but they don't tell you about PrEP or Doxy PrEP or anything other than abstinence if you're gay. That's the only way for you to continue to live if you're gay. It's not doing gay things. And it's like,
girl, no, we all have urges.
no, we all meet you behind the bleachers.
Exactly.
But yeah, I wish there was just more
For
education
sure.
that was
Yeah.
accessible and also like easy to digest when it came to these things. Like, I'm not trying to read a 4-page pamphlet that in a 0.10
Yeah.
font. Like,
Yeah.
I need diagrams. I need like 1, 2, 3, 4. Visit your doctor. Take a
Yeah.
test. Get it. Get prescription. Pick it up. Have a good time. You know, like
Yeah, it should definitely be that simple. It shouldn't be like this, like, I know exactly what you mean. I'm just like, why am I reading all this like information and this like resource to that, resource to this? Like, this shouldn't be that complicated. Like,
It's so
there's
bad.
so
I
much.
go on
Yeah.
Reddit. I go on Reddit
Oh my
for
God.
all this information because the people will tell me.
Oh, I've got a Reddit horror story that just came into my
Oh
inbox
gosh,
yesterday
tell
morning.
us. Tell the people.
Clench your pearls. I was in a wedding like 3 years ago, and this person was like a serial cheater,
Serial
and
cheater?
now
Oh my god.
a serial cheater in his marriage, and now has a whole Reddit thread about
Oh no.
how he's catfishing people and like also filming them against their consent.
That's terrible.
Straight to jail.
And I'm like, I'm so happy I'm not friends with this person anymore, but there are probably photos of me on the internet with this person, so I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, leave it to Reddit to have a whole CSI crime scene.
Reddit is where it's at. That's the real deal. Talking about pride and like as a young person, what advice would you give to them who might be, figuring it out or might be scared to like I feel like Vince and I sometimes we feel kind of intimidated in queer spaces.
Yeah.
And just like because we're at a different stage in life and we really haven't had queer friends growing up, so it's
The
like,
younger
how
gays
do
are
we
scary.
I know, it's like, how do we fit in sometimes? Or
They are.
yeah, do you have any advice on how someone can feel comfortable?
One, find yourself a good gay best friend, because that's always going to be your safety, because they're going to be experiencing it as you do. Like, my best friend is from Livermore, tattoos, says hella, snapback. Like, we're so different.
Yeah.
And we just went through so many moments together. It was like, bitch, I got $50 and we're going to Vegas and we're going to have a good time and we're going to go to Club Piranha and that's going to be our story and we'll see where the night takes us. And that's like, we still would just message each other and be like, I can't believe we're alive right now. But like, I think that like, find your good ally or somebody that is there to champion you through it. I think that like, even if that person is straight, they are at least loving enough to explore your queerness as you, and they're willing to learn as much as you too.
Yeah.
I also just think like, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace and give yourself time, because there's like so many versions of yourself that you are going to experience during this journey.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, oh, I woke up and I was a perfect gay. That like, it's not like when you hit puberty and you turn into a jock and like you like have the muscles that you like we wish it was that way, but you're going to go through phases of being like, oh shoot, I'm kind of into being skinny right now, or right now fitness is a thing and I want to freaking go to the gym and bulk up and gain 20 pounds. And, like, there's so many things that you'll go through, or versions of yourself. So embrace them all. I think that like, COVID taught us that we're all figuring it out.
Yeah.
No one has it all together.
Yeah.
And even if you think that you are quirky or weird, there's somebody else that is very much into the things that you are. And it's just about being outspoken about them. And maybe even just finding communities that are there, and then opening yourself up to the experience. When we're closed off to the experience, we're closed off to connections, right? We like miss the opportunities. And so like, even if it's knitting, find a cute knit group in your like community.
Yeah.
And then you like talk to the cute people there and they all knit together, and you'll be like, I've got everybody has a queer friend. We are there. Somebody will introduce you to somebody from community.
Yeah. When you started talking about like the different versions of yourself, it would have been so nice to kind of like have that growing up. And I think that's part of where I guess my fear, not fearfulness, but just like the not lack of knowledge, but just like, I guess I have never seen a version of myself / someone that looks like me who was queer and all that. So I think we touched on it earlier. So it would have been like, I kind of just wonder what I would have been like if I had, say, if I was like let's just say like a straight Caucasian male who looks up to Superman this entire life, just being like, oh, you're like this strong, blah, 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 from like a young age up until now. And I'm just like, I wonder how confident I'll be. I wonder if I can just walk into a room and being like, yep, we, like my friends and I sometimes talk about like, like, you have a confidence of like a straight white male. Like we have a friend who's just like walks into a room and it's just like, you know, this buff Asian dude who climbs, and he's like, oh, I don't see it. I'm like, yeah, you kind of just like walk in there like what would that be like? I wonder what.
Pretty privileged is a thing.
Yeah, pretty privileged.
I know. Oh god.
Yeah. There goes our Michelle. But yeah, embrace all the versions of yourself because they are very beautiful. And especially when you look back and be like, man, do you remember when I used to wear double polos from Hollister and pop the collar? And like,
oh my god, yes.
Think about how far you've come.
Yes. For sure.
And I'd still rock one too.
Oh hell yeah! You rock anything, Dalane.
Yeah.
What version am I now?
Matt, I've seen so many versions of you.
I know.
Wow. Yeah. This is a new one too.
I love it. I saw you yesterday and I was like, okay, texture.
Thank you.
Okay, curls.
Thank you. Should we get into the rapid fire section?
Yes.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Okay.
Bring it on. It's fine. There's nothing to be afraid about.
Favorite item of clothing, top or bottom?
Ooh, okay. I love a crop top. Crop tops are my thing. Like a muscle crop too. Like my roommate is just like, give me all of your shirts and let me cut off all the sleeves. These look great on you. And I'm like, thank you. And yes, I'll take them. And then I am like somebody that like, I love a good shoe.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
You do?
Shoes are my thing. I do. I do love shoes. But I'm very kind of like basic in the sense of like when I say I love shoes, I'm like I love every kind of Van.
Oh yeah, that's so best.
Like yeah. And they're like classic and they just go good with everything.
Most underrated fast food chain.
Okay, so I promised myself no matter how wealthy I got in life that I would always go to McDonald's, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Chicken nuggets like my thing growing up. Yeah. Actually, I could also say Wiener Schnitzel.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Yeah, neither.
Wiener Schnitzel?
I've never had a Wiener Schnitzel.
Oh my god. Okay. Wiener Schnitzel is this like fast food chain that is like known for chili dogs.
Oh, I thought it was an option in McDonald's. I was like,
no.
Is it the ones with the huts?
They have huts and it's like a curvy W.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
They have really good fries, corn dogs, the ice cream cones, the just all of it is free. They even came out with a chili cheese fried burrito, and which I will say that I've had several times.
Okay, we'll have to try that.
Go to a gay bar in Long Beach or LA.
I'm going to say go to gay bar in Long Beach is probably the Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I like it, and I'm going to get crucified for this. I don't love any gay bar in Long Beach.
Okay.
I just feel like we can take it up, just take it up a notch. I enjoy them, but I don't love them. Like, I'll go ahead and do it. But I feel like I used to go to this club called Tiger Heat.
Yeah.
And it was in WeHo, and it was like 18 and over. And they had the best DJ and themed nights because it'd be like Britney versus Madonna night. And the whole night they'd be spinning those two artists. And I'm like, we could do those things in Long Beach, and we'd have such a great turnout of putting two queens together, playing like pop queen for a night. And I'm like, just think of like the draw that you would have, because like if you promote it right, you get people from all over coming to experience it. So yes, I'm going to be the bar director and board for the the bar scene, and
I think Long Beach is more like a bar situation rather than like club dancing, and that's where WeHo and maybe like downtown. It's like the same as Silver Lake. I feel like Silver Lake is more gay bar scene rather than like a club scene. What's your favorite Pride anthem?
Oh my gosh, I'm coming out.
Oh,
Nice. Favorite queer artist?
I'm going to have to give it to somebody that is like not as big as they could be, but I love Vincent.
Thank you.
Do you know who he is?
No.
Are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay. Well, he's a LA gay. He competed on a show called The Four, and his songs have been featured in a lot of like small movies or shows. But yeah, hangs out with Kyle Krieger and like all of the gays. But he's a very talented vocalist.
Ooh, okay.
Dive into his catalog.
Yes.
Okay.
Dive into it.
Everyone check it out.
Yeah.
What would your drag name be?
Oh, Midnight Amethyst.
She has thought it through.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
Have you done drag before?
Yeah, and I have not, but I did go to a wig party and I loved having bundles. I wore like there's like a picture of Rihanna courtside with like an oversized shirt and a like leather skirt and boots. So that was my inspiration, and I had a snapback on long bundles.
Yes. Okay, last one. Queer joy is.
Oh my gosh, queer joy is fucking pride.
Queer joy is
embracing a whole month to love you.
Aww.
Period.
I think that is like to celebrate you, how far you've come, where you've been, where you'll go. I think that is queer.
Queer joy is Dalane, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dalane. We want to get into your You Do or You Don't, a segment where we chat about something debatable or questionable in life. So, Dalane, what is your You Do or You Don't?
I don't do social media dating apps. I don't. I can't.
You don't social media dating apps.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I think that all of our personalities are strong enough to go up to whoever we want and at least extend a hello or a compliment.
I'm deleting everything now. I'm deleting.
I'm throwing my phone.
I think that there's like one of the most toxic situationships in my life has been on a dating app. And from then on, I have not been on another, but I'm like, I have nothing to lose by going up to somebody and saying hello. One, they probably are not even going to remember that they met me. Or two, they're going to say, oh, that person came up to me. And somebody else is going to say, oh, yeah, they seem cool. Like, what is there to lose? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose.
We need Delane's confidence, Vince.
I know. I was just like, that is so refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
To be like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I don't need a dating app to live how we've all been living and just making actual connection and just rocking up to someone being like, hey, my name is this. I like that. Or like, I just pay a compliment. I'm like, what? Why is that so foreign to me? Why is that like a thing that I feel like I wasn't subscribed to? And now I'm just like, you know what? I can do that. It's like the only thing that's stopping is like myself. I'm like, that's so. I love it.
Here's my tip. My tip is to focus on one thing that you would give somebody a compliment, right? Like I would go out to bars in Riverside and be like, beards are going to be my thing. So I would go up to guys with beards and be like, tell me your beard story.
Oh my God.
Matt, you need to try that. I have a thing for beards, so that's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then it would be like, oh, like you would hear so many different, like I was in the military, I had to shave it off. I can't grow hair on my head, so I grew it on my beard. Like so many different things that inspired it. And I'm like, wow, I just got to know somebody. My name's Dalane. Like, cool. You want to hang out? Can I buy you a drink? You want to dance? Whatever. And so like, it just opens up a conversation that like, doesn't have to be so creepy where you're like waiting for somebody to reply back because you're like, oh, I said I like your beard. Was that right? Was that wrong? Like I said it. Fucking take back, you know.
What if you don't have a thing for beards? What made you
then it could
anything?
It could be your shoes, it could be a shirt, it could be your style, your watch, necklace. It could be like, oh man, you can really dance. You know, like
oh yeah.
You can really open it up. even if you are like next to somebody at a bar ordering a drink and they're like, oh, I just got an IPA, you can be like, that was a good choice in drink. Like it's like it literally is like so basic and fundamental.
Before we started this episode, I said to Vince, I was like, Dalane is our fairy gay mother. He's gonna
we need a we need a master class of like dating with Dalane. D&D.
Vince, is it a you do or you don't dating?
Currently it's a you do, but now I'm like questioning my life. I'm like, I should get rid of it and just actually live in reality of what's in front of me.
Even if it's for the summer, do it for the summer and have like a really like beautiful and vulnerable hot boy summer with no social media dating apps. And I even also hate when people say, "Can I get your
like?
Can I get your Instagram?" Ask for my number like an adult.
Yeah, true. I think it's a you do for me as well. Just for my urges. That's my desires, but it would be great in the summer to just like delete it, and then when it comes to cuffing season.
there we go. It's cold outside.
I know.
But yeah, just think of like going to the beach and just like seeing everybody out. You could ask to go play frisbee. Hey, do you mind if I join you guys? Like it's literally so easy, guys.
Wow.
This is our time.
Yeah.
We'll never be younger and hotter than we are in this moment. Say it with me. We'll never be younger and hotter than we are in this moment.
I gotta say it. We'll never be younger and hotter.
We'll never be younger and hotter than in this moment.
Okay.
And we just ascend.
I know.
Charmed.
On that note, we want to thank you so much, Dalane, for coming on. You have been such a joy and inspiring talk to just listen to, and then like we are gonna leave this podcast and like go have a hot boy summer.
Yeah.
Just have a hot boy summer. Have a margarita while you're at it too.
Yeah.
It's a Friday. Let's start now.
It is a Friday.
Let's start now. I thank you both for having me.
Thank you, Dalane. Thank you so much.
This has been so fun, and we have some great stories to tell our community.
Yes.
I think that what you guys are doing is so special, and continue to shine your light. I think it is beautiful in all of the queer that you choose to embrace.
We love you, Dalane. Thank you, everyone.
Love you too.
Bye. See you on the next episode.